Hi guys, welcome to my study compass. In this video, I'll be walking you through the past paper Math P2 Variant 1 October November 2016. Let's get started. Write down the temperature, which is 5 degrees Celsius below negative 2 degrees Celsius. We have T equals negative 2 degrees Celsius minus 5 degrees Celsius, and that gives us negative 7 degrees Celsius. Write 0.0401907 correct to three significant figures. The leading zeros are insignificant. The third significant figure is 1, and since the number after 1 is greater than 5, we add 1 to 1, giving us 2 and ignoring the rest of the numbers. And so this leaves us with 0.0402. Write 0.0401907 correct to three decimal places. The number in the third decimal place is 0, and the number after 0 is less than 5, and so we maintain 0 and ignore the rest of the numbers, and so this leaves us with 0.040. The price of a toy is 12 euros in Germany and 14 Swiss francs in Switzerland. 1 Swiss franc is equal to 0.905 euros. Calculate the difference between these two prices. Give your answer in euros. And so the price difference is 12 euros minus 14 Swiss francs. Since we need our answer to be in euros, we need to convert 14 Swiss francs into euros. We know that 1 Swiss franc is equal to 0.905 euros, and so to convert 14 Swiss francs to euros, we multiply by 0.905, and this gives us a final price difference of 0.67 euros. Work out 2 over 3 minus 1 over 4, giving your answer as a fraction in its lowest terms. Do not use a calculator and show all the steps of your working. So in the first step, we find the LCM of 3 and 4, and that is 12. 3 goes into 12 4 times, multiplied by the numerator, which is 2, gives us 8, minus 4 goes into 12 3 times, multiplied by the numerator, which is 1, gives us 3. 8 minus 3 gives us 5, divided by 12. And so our final answer is 5 over 12. Write 5 raised to the power negative 3 as a fraction. By applying the laws of indices, 5 raised to the power negative 3 is equal to 1 over 5 raised to the power 3. And 5 raised to the power 3 is equal to 125. And so this gives us a final answer of 1 over 125. Write 0.00456 in standard form. So we need to move the decimal point to a position after the first non-zero digit, which is 4. This gives us 4.56. And since we moved the decimal point 3 times to the right, we have times 10 raised to the power negative 3. And so in standard form, we have 4.56 times 10 raised to the power negative 3. In the diagram, PT is a tangent to the circle at P. PW is a diameter and angle TPQ is equal to 42 degrees. Find angle PWQ. So first, we know that an angle subtended by a diameter at the circumference of the circle is equal to 90 degrees. And we also know that the angle formed by the diameter of the circle and the tangent is 90 degrees. And so when we subtract 42 degrees from 90 degrees, we get the angle WPQ as 48 degrees. Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So angle PWQ plus 90 degrees plus 48 degrees equals 180 degrees. When we subtract the sum of 90 degrees and 48 degrees from 180 degrees, we get the angle PWQ as 42 degrees. Simplify. X cubed y plus 2xy cubed divided by x squared y squared. So for the numerator, the common factor is xy. And when we factor that out, we are left with x squared plus 2y squared. In the denominator, we can factor that out as xy times xy. Xy cancels out in the numerator and the denominator, and so we are left with x squared plus 2y squared divided by xy as our final answer. Write as a single fraction 1 minus 2 over p minus 3 over t. We can write 1 as 1 over 1. So to get our LCM, we can multiply 1, p and t, and that gives us pt. So 1 into pt is pt times 1, which is pt, minus p into pt leaves us with t, multiplied by the numerator, we get 2t, minus t goes into pt, and we are left with p, multiplied by the numerator, we get 3p. And so our final answer here is pt minus 2t minus 3p divided by pt. A, B, C, and D lie on the circle center O. Find the value of x and the value of y. The angle subtended at the center of a circle by any given chord is twice the angle that same chord subtends at the circumference of the circle. And so this means that x is equal to half of 110 degrees. And so that gives us x equals 55 degrees. ABCD is a cyclic quadrilateral. Opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral add up to 180 degrees. And so that means that x plus y is equal to 180 degrees. We found the value of x as 55 degrees. And so when we subtract it from 180 degrees, we get the value of y as 125 degrees. Simplify. 36x raised to the power 16 or raised to the power half. And so when we apply the laws of indices, we have 36, which can also be written as 6 squared or raised to the power half, times x raised to the power 16 or raised to the power half. And so for the powers of 6, when we multiply 2 and half, we get 1. So 6 raised to the power 1 is the same as 6. And for the powers of x, when we multiply 16 and half, we get 8. And so that leaves us with our final answer of 6x raised to the power 8. Solve the simultaneous equations. You must show all your working. 2x plus 3y equals 13. X plus 2y equals 9. So we'll be using the elimination method. Since we have 2x in equation 1, if we are able to get 2x in equation 2 and subtract both equations, we will be able to eliminate x. So when we multiply equation 2 by 2, 2 times x gives us 2x, 2 times 2y gives us 4y, and 2 times 9 gives us 18. So now we have 2x in equation 2, and we've labeled this equation as equation 3. So when we subtract equation 3 from equation 1, we have 2x minus 2x giving us 0 and cancelling out. 4y minus 3y equals 18 minus 13. So 4y minus 3y gives us y, and 18 minus 13 gives us 5. And so we have y equals 5. So now that we have found the value of y, we can substitute this value into any of the equations to find the value of x. And so when we put it in equation 2, we get x plus 2 times 5 equals 9. 2 times 5 gives us 10. And so x is equal to 9 minus 10. And that gives us x equals negative 1. And so our answers here are x equals negative 1, y equals 5. Write $0.70 as a fraction of $5.60, giving your answer in its lowest terms. So the number that comes after of will be our denominator. And so we have $0.70 divided by $5.60. Without going through all the working I've shown here, you can go ahead and type this into your calculator and it will give you the answer 1/8. Write the recurring decimal 0.18 as a fraction in its lowest terms. 0.18 means 0.181818. Okay, so let's call the recurring decimal 0.181818x, and let's multiply x by 10. And when we do that, we get 1.818181. And when we multiply x by 100, we get 18.181818. So looking at all these values, x and 100x have a similar pattern after the decimal point. And so we are going to pick these values onto the next step. And so that gives us 100x minus x equals 18.1818 minus 0.1818. The numbers after the decimal point cancel out, and so we are left with 99x equals 18. And when we make x the subject, we get 18 divided by 99. This can further be simplified because 9 goes into 18 2 times and 9 goes into 99 11 times. And so our final answer here is 2/11. Factorize completely. 4p squared minus 9. This is a difference of two squares, and it can be rewritten as 2p all squared minus 3 squared. And so when we apply the factorization technique for difference of two squares, we have 2p plus 3 times 2p minus 3. Factorize completely. 2ax minus 4bx minus ay plus 2by. For the first two terms, when we factor out 2x, we are left with a minus 2b. And for the final two terms, when we factor out negative y, we are left with a minus 2b. And this can be rewritten as a minus 2b times 2x minus y. Y is directly proportional to the square root of x plus 2. When x equals 7, y equals 2. Find y when x is equal to 98. So in mathematical terms, let's write y is directly proportional to the square root of x plus 2. And this means that y is equal to a constant which we are going to call k times the square root of x plus 2. So to find the value of k, we are going to substitute the values of x and y given in the question. So when x equals 7, y equals 2, and this gives us 2 is equal to k times square root of 7 plus 2. When we make k the subject, we get k equals 2/3. So now we have y equals 2/3 times square root of x plus 2. When x is equal to 98, we have y is equal to 2/3 times square root of 98 plus 2. When we type this into the calculator, we get y is equal to 20/3, which can also be written as 6/2/3. Work out 2 times 3 5 minus 1 2. 2 times 3 gives us 6. 2 times 5 gives us 10. So now we have 6 10 minus 1 2. 6 minus 1 gives us 5. 10 minus 2 gives us 8. And so our final answer here is 5 8. 1 2 times 2 3. So over here we have 1 times 2, which gives us 2, plus 2 times 3, which is 6. So now we have 2 plus 6, and this gives us 8. Two cups are mathematically similar. The larger cup has capacity 0.5 liters and height 8 centimeters. The smaller cup has capacity 0.25 liters. Find the height of the smaller cup. So first, let's set up our ratio. Since we are dealing with volume, we need to cube the length or the linear scale. And so from our ratio, we get the equation small h cubed divided by the big H cubed is equal to the volume of the small cup divided by the volume of the bigger or the larger cup. So when we make H the subject, we get the cube root volume of the small cup times big H cubed divided by the volume of the big cup. We know that the volume of the small cup is 0.25 liters, the volume of the big cup is 0.5 liters, and the height of the big cup is 8 centimeters. And so when we slot in these values and type it into our calculator, we get the height of the small cup to be 6.35 centimeters, correct to 3 significant figures. Construct the locus of points inside the triangle that are 5 centimeters from B. So first, you need to get your compass and pencil and measure 5 centimeters apart between one point on the compass and the pencil. So you stand at B and mark an arc 5 centimeters from B using your compass and pencil. Construct the locus of points inside the triangle that are equidistant from AB and BC. And so this is simply asking to draw an angle bisector for angle ABC. So first, you can open your compass to any radius and inscribe a path for angle ABC. By placing your compass on the first intersection, open your compass to a larger radius and inscribe your first arc. Using that same radius, stand at the second intersection and inscribe the second arc. Note the point of intersection of the two arcs you've drawn, and using a ruler, draw a straight line from point B that passes through the point of intersection of the two arcs. Shade the region inside the triangle containing points that are more than 5 centimeters from B and nearer to AB than BC. Any region more than 5 centimeters from B will be away from the 5 centimeters arc we drew, and any region nearer to AB than to BC will be in the region that we have indicated. Y equals P squared plus QR. Find y when P is equal to -5, Q is equal to 3, and R is equal to -7. So all we need to do is to substitute the values given for the letters. And so we have y is equal to -5 squared plus 3 times -7. When we type this into the calculator, we get y is equal to 4. Write P in terms of Q, R, and Y. So Y is equal to P squared plus QR. And since we want to make P the subject, we need to move QR to the other side of the equation. And since it is adding, when it goes to the other side, it goes to subtract QR. When we take square root of both sides, we have P is equal to square root of Y minus QR. Find the nth term of each sequence. For this sequence, there's a common difference between the terms, and this common difference is equal to 6. We can write the nth term of any sequence with a common difference in the form a plus dn, where d is equal to the common difference. So in this case, the common difference is equal to 6. And so it means that the nth term is equal to a plus 6n. So now we need to find the value of a. And we can do that by substituting one of the terms of the sequence. So if we want to use the first term, we can say that when n is equal to 1, the nth term is equal to 7. And so we have 7 is equal to a plus 6 times 1. And we have a is equal to 7 minus 6, giving us a equals 1. Therefore, our nth term is equal to 1 plus 6n. Find the nth term of 9, 16, 25, 36, 49. So for this case, the difference between the terms do not have a constant difference. However, the difference of the difference between the terms has a constant difference. And these types of sequences are quadratic sequences. And to find the nth term, that will be equal to an squared plus bn plus c. So now all we need to do is to find the values of a, b, and c. So to find the value of, we need to equate 2a to the constant difference. And so the constant difference is 2. So this means that 2a is equal to 2 and a gives us 1. So to find the value of b, we need to equate 3a plus b to the difference between the first two terms of the sequence, and that is 7. And so 3a plus b is equal to 7. And since we know the value of A as 1, we have 3 times 1 plus B is equal to 7. And so this gives us the value of B as 4. To find the value of C, we need to equate A plus B plus C to the first term of the sequence, which is 9. We know the values of A and B as 1 and 4, and so we have 1 plus 4 plus C equals 9. And so this gives us the value of C as. And so finally, we have our nth term as n squared plus 4n plus 4, or n plus 2 squared. A train travels for n minutes at a speed of x meters per second. Find the distance traveled in kilometers in terms of m and x. Give your answer in its simplest form. So we know the formula for finding speed is equal to the distance traveled divided by the time taken. Since we are interested in finding the distance, that will be equal to the speed times the time. The speed here is x meters per second and the time taken is m minutes. Since we want our answer to be in kilometers, we divide x by 10 cubed and multiply m minutes by 60 seconds. And so the seconds cancel out and we are left with 60 mx divided by 10 cubed kilometers. 60 divided by 10 cubed is equal to 0.06, and so that leaves us with our final answer of 0.06 mx kilometers. When m is equal to 5, the train travels 10.5 kilometers. Find the value of x. So we know that d is equal to 0.06 mx. So when we make x the subject, we have d divided by 0.06 m. We've been told that m is equal to 5 and d is equal to 10.5 kilometers. And so when we type this into the calculator, we get x equals 35. Write down the 3 inequalities that define the unshaded region R. First of all, we need to find the equations of the lines bounded by the region R. First, we have the x-axis, and the equation for the x-axis is y is equal to 0. We have x is equal to 1, and we have x plus y equals 4. The region R is located below x plus y equals 4. And so the inequality that describes this region will be x plus y is less than and equal to 4. The equal sign is included because this line is a solid line. The region R is located on the right of x is equal to 1. And so the inequality that describes this will be x is greater than and equal to 1. We have the equal sign in this case because x is equal to 1 is a solid line. The region R is located above y is equal to 0. And so we have the inequality as y is greater than and equal to 0. We also have equal sign in this inequality because the line is a solid line. The number of elements in a universal set is equal to 10. The number of elements in set A is equal to 7. The number of elements in set B is equal to 6. The number of elements in A union B complement is equal to 1. Complete the Venn diagram by writing the number of elements in each subset. So first, the number of elements that are neither in set A or set B is equal to 1, and we'll write that here. And so that leaves us with a total number of elements in set A and B being equal to 9. Second, we need to find the number of elements in A and B. So to do that, we add 7 and 6. That gives us 13. So when we subtract 9 from 13, we get 4. And so the number of elements in set A and set B is equal to 4. The number of elements in set A is equal to 7. And so 7 minus 4 gives us 3. The number of elements in B is equal to 6. 6 minus 4 gives us 2. An element of E is chosen at random. Find the probability that this element is an element of A complements intersection B. So the probability will be equal to the number of elements in A complement intersection B divided by the number of elements in the universal set. So the number of elements in A complement intersection B is equal to 2, and the number of elements in the universal set is equal to 10. And so we have 2 over 10. And when we simplify this further, we get 1 over 5 or 0.2. On the Venn diagram, shade the region C complement intersection D complement. And so this is how you shade that region. Solve the equation 2x squared plus 3x minus 3 equals 0. Show all your working and give your answers correct to 2 decimal places. So stating the quadratic formula, we have x is equal to negative b plus and minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. A is equal to 2, b is equal to 3, and c is equal to negative 3. And so we have x is equal to negative 3 plus and minus square root of 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3 all divided by 2 times 2. 3 squared minus 4 times 2 times negative 3 gives us 33. And so we have negative 3 plus and minus square root of 33 divided by 4. So at this point, we have the first value of x being negative 3 plus square root of 33 over 4, and the second value of x being x is equal to negative 3 minus square root of 33 over 4. So when we type these into the calculator, we get the first value of x being 0.69 correct to 2 decimal places, and the second value of x being negative 2.19 correct to 2 decimal places. The diagram shows a cube of side length 8 centimeters. Calculate the length of the diagonal BS. On the diagram, we have indicated BS, and we can find BS by applying the Pythagoras theorem. And so this gives us BS squared equals BD squared plus DS squared. We already know that DS is equal to 8 centimeters, but we do not know BD. We can also find the length of BD using Pythagoras theorem. And so this gives us BD squared equals BA squared plus AD squared. BA is equal to 8 centimeters and AD is also equal to 8 centimeters. And so when we slot these values into our equation, we get BD is equal to square root of 128 centimeters. So now we have BS is equal to square root of 8 squared plus square root of 128 squared. When we type this into the calculator, we get BS equals 13.9 centimeters correct to 3 significant figures. Calculate angle SBD. To find angle SBD, we can apply SOHCAHTOA, and this gives us tan of angle SBD equals DS divided by BD. We know that DS is equal to 8 centimeters, and from the previous question, we found BD as square root of 128 centimeters. And so when we slot these values into the equation, we get angle SBD is equal to tan inverse of 8 divided by square root of 128. When we type this into the calculator, we get angle SBD as 35.3 degrees correct to 1 decimal place. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this video useful. See you in the next video. Bye guys.